Okay, this week's episode is how to get better at editing or how to learn at something in editing.
Something along those lines.
Something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Insert cool intro here.
The Joe Rogan experience.
Okay. So,
I don't know. It's a super difficult topic to get into just because there's so many ways to approach it. And honestly, one of the biggest methods that people have kind of come across that seems to be the most successful, but no one really knows how to explain, is how it's just fuck around and find out. You know, if you run into a problem, you search up a YouTube video and you call it a day. If you don't run into a problem, you're somehow doing good as a video editor.
yeah, you're like surviving.
Exactly, right? But I'm curious about your take about it because, I mean, I think you have your own methods, right?
Well, yeah, we can start with what's it called? From the beginning, you know, from the top of first download DaVinci Resolve, right? When you first open it, I don't know about you. I think I downloaded DaVinci Resolve 4 or 5 times.
What?
Opened it, yeah. So I sat down. I'm like, yo, I want to make a video. I'll make a YouTube channel. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So I record my gaming session with my friends. I'm like, okay, time to go edit this.
You
shit.
saw what DaVinci
Download
looks
DaVinci
like.
Resolve.
You're like, fuck.
I open it, saw it, and was like, yo, fuck this shit.
I'm outta here.
Delete it, and then I'm done. Never touch it again. And then a year later, I'm like, yo, I'm a year smarter. I got this.
True.
Same thing. No clue where to start. Maybe this because I was younger and I just didn't, and YouTube, and not just YouTube, but the internet as a whole wasn't as good.
grown,
This is
for sure.
10 years ago.
For sure.
So it wasn't as refined as it is now. But there's probably the resources were still there. I just didn't know where to look.
Yeah. Well, especially not for DaVinci. I think there was a lot more stuff for Adobe, but even then, it was really in the professional sphere, right?
It's more, but here's the thing. I think they had this from the beginning. DaVinci has a user manual which teaches you everything.
Okay.
It's it's one page.
No one's reading
It's
that.
it's 3,000 pages.
Yeah, I'm
long.
good, bro.
But the thing is, I didn't even know that existed until I paid for the full version.
Right. And then they tell you.
Auto-download
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm like, whoa.
That's a
And
manual.
it's free. It's free. You could have downloaded it from just straight off the internet for free.
Exactly.
But we can start from there. It's what did you do when you started editing? Where did you go to first learn where to start?
Okay.
Because I think that's the hardest thing is just getting to getting the starting point, and once you pass the starting point, it's pretty easy. It opens the floodgates. But knowing where to start is the hardest thing
Right.
ever.
I think that makes a lot of sense because looking at it from the outside perspective, DaVinci Resolve is super fucking daunting, especially even when you're coming you're an experienced editor coming from CapCut or something like that. It looks so scary to get into. But when I first started video editing, I think it's actually, here's a stupid thing. I think I got the job before I even knew how to edit. To be fully honest with you, I started. I know, right? No, I started emailing people first. I got my first client, which happened to be, I think it was a 10,000 subscriber guy, and I got really lucky with it because he was impressed with my high school resume, so it just kind of worked out. And as we started working together, and as the more he grew, I just kind of learned how to edit along the way. But in terms of the first time seeing DaVinci Resolve, I was definitely super confused. I didn't even know what the timeline was supposed to do at that point. I didn't know you were supposed to drag videos in and then slap it into the timeline and then start editing it from there. I started I don't know, fucking around in the Fusion page to see if I could create my own images and videos from there, and that shit just didn't work because you're supposed to have footage beforehand.
You're supposed to pre-have it.
So,
I think the confusing thing with DaVinci is it default opens you in the cut
exactly.
page, right? And
It's what is that?
that's so the cut page. So it's so. I think the cool thing about DaVinci is that it just gives you all the tools
right.
up front, right? So there's nothing hidden.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad thing is it gives you all the tools up front.
You don't know where to start.
So if you have no clue where to start, it's it's like if you start woodworking for the first time,
You're just
and then
fucked.
instead of like the person giving you like the piece of wood and like measuring tape, they're just like, here's my woodworking shop, go make a chair. And you're like, I don't know how to make a chair. It's like,
What the fuck's a
there's a
carving
chair.
knife?
you got this, bro.
Exactly.
Right? And then but like the cut page is for literally that's it.
No, that's the
Cutting.
thing. That's like the
It's-
worst place to start.
It's the worst place to
That's
start.
the worst
and
place
it's like
to start.
but it's because it's in movies
Mm-hmm.
in like film and like in industry. So like we'll split it up where industry is like what you see on TV, Netflix, and like the movie theaters,
Yeah.
and then social media, which would be like YouTube,
Content
internet
creation
stuff,
nerds.
content creation,
Right.
right? So for industry, most of the editors use just the cut page
Really?
because all you need to do is
Oh,
cut.
come
raw
on. What about the
footage.
funny, transitions and all that?
But they don't need any of that because
Whatever.
when you're working like on a huge project, you're just like you just get like 20 scenes,
Mhm.
right? And like a million takes for the scene,
For sure.
right?
Yeah. I guess that's
So
that's
all
how
they
that
do
works.
is they go through and cut all the parts together to fit the scene that they need to, like whatever their outline is.
Maybe that's why video editors don't get paid.
Well, like, yeah, but the thing is, like, in industry, there's so many different jobs
Yeah,
because,
there's,
like,
After Effects
so, like-
and all that crap.
like if you think of each page, like each node for or like tab in DaVinci, that's like a different job
True.
in industry, right? So like there's like the person who's doing all the cuts, and there's the person who's layering everything, doing
Right.
all the VFX, right? All the edits.
animations, all that crap.
Right.
And then there's
And then,
fucking
like,
nodes.
the fusion page, right? It's where like the VFX 3D artists are doing all the
Fairlight
nodes,
and all that crap.
right?
Yeah.
And then there's the color correction, the color
Yeah.
correction tab, like that. There's literally just that's someone's job.
True.
And then the sound design or the sound engineer, that's another job. Like each tab in DaVinci is just a different person's job,
Right.
which is
That's pretty crazy.
So, like-
that's actually super insane.
right, and that's an industry. But then then we flip to the other side of the
The
coin.
content creation side.
We go to content creation, right? Like social
One
media.
guy's doing
You
everything.
basically only use the edit page. Because the edit page is like everything combined into one. And the thing is, that's what we need. Is like we need to be able to layer things. We need to be able to like do the cuts.
Right.
We need to sync up the audio, right?
Have all your effects
like-
in there too.
Yeah, have everything there. And the cut page is nice when you need to like do bulk trim and bulk.
I mean, even
edits,
then, it's like,
real
why you
quick.
can do that. You can ripple delete.
You can do that in the edit page,
Yeah.
but it's easier. It's just easier
Yeah.
because you get the whole timeline, right? On like one layer, and then you get the like your working timeline, right? And so you have like the overview of like okay where the whole big picture is, and then you have like the really close in view, and then there's no audio track because you don't need the audio track when you're doing bulk cutting,
Right.
right? And
I mean, if
But then
that's
when
the
you go to-
what's it called? Sorry to interrupt you, but if that's
it's
the
all good.
case, then I guess like the starting point of like a beginning video editor would be just somebody who's learning how to cut correctly, right? Like being able to cut a coherent story without fucking things up.
yeah, it's like pacing, right? To be able to get the pacing
time,
down,
yeah, all that crap, all the
right?
basics,
timing, when things should be going in, like sound effects,
how to make things funny.
but like, yeah, just like layering things up on top of that. But like the beginning is like how to get to the edit page,
Mhm.
right? And then drag in your media from there. And like, I think that's like most people just that's the hardest part. Is like they open it up, they're on the cut page, they start throwing things in, they want to like add effects and all this stuff.
It's not working.
But they're on the cut
It's
page,
not working.
so they don't know what to do. They're like, "Where's the effects
yeah,
tab?" Right? It's not that like it's there, but it's harder to
I
use.
thought I could use
Go on the edit
transitions and
page,
stuff.
boom, everything's there.
Yeah.
It's like great.
I think that's true. Like the moment you get to the edit page, that's when I think you kind of become a more real editor than than when you were at the cut page for sure. And then when you touch
You like-
the node stuff, that's when you actually get into like everything else.
The notes, yeah, like I think that's where like the biggest time sink is like
Yes,
understanding the fusion
the
page.
fusion page and how to
Um,
actually do things with it.
And that's like this it's scary because it's so it's more daunting because there's just so much to do. And like where do you start? Because googling or searching how to use the fusion page DaVinci Resolve,
Mm.
it's not
It don't
helpful.
work.
There's too much information.
Yeah.
I think it's like
It's like its own sandbox. It's hard to come up with one solution for one thing. You know, if you're trying to do something a certain way, somebody might be doing it for another reason, and it gets in the way of what you're trying to do with your project. It gets so confusing.
you for like when you're editing like other people's work, right? Do you ever decide to like try some new shit
For Fusion?
in like a video? No, just in
Oh,
general. So like, cause like when I was starting editing, that's what
Yeah,
I would do. Like one thing I would like make it normal, and then the next video that they give me, I'm like, oh, for like one segment, I'm gonna try like I want to do this new thing that I want to do. Like either like try like to animate my own text, right? Like my subtitles, like animate it in, right? But like not for the whole video, just for like a small section. So I start like trying to add new shit to the video and like see if like I can do it
right.
and see how long it takes me.
Like limit testing.
And like yeah, and, like that's for me at least. That's like the best way because like when one of the videos I remember that helped me really learn the Fusion page is the video was talking about like a bunch of pro players for like Valorant esports, and instead of just having them slide on slide off, right, like the stereotypical like transition where it's just like image slide on screen, right, it stays on screen and then either like gets layered on top or like slides off and then new image slides on screen, like really basic.
Yeah.
I wanted to do like this 3D carousel effect.
Ooh.
Where it would like they would slide on screen and all of the players that they were going to name is there, and then it like does like a revolt, like a literally like a rotation. So like they say the name of the player and then it rotates to the next player when they say the new player's name, and it rotates and it's all
That's
there in
pretty
3D
cool.
space.
Yeah. I know you could do
And-
that in Fusion, just a 3D space in there.
So yeah, I need to learn how to do that in Fusion, and I was like, okay, and I just Googled 3D carousel Fusion
Oh, hell
DaVinci.
no.
Like all the keywords, it popped up.
Really?
And it like was like a plugin. Yeah, like someone already did it, right? Like someone already had the issue, like the problem that you're trying to solve,
right.
and they already solved it. So this person already had it. I download the plugin. It's terrible. Like it's a good plugin, but like
you could do it better.
it's super laggy,
Yeah. It's
right?
fucking humongous.
And it's like and it does the effect, but it doesn't do it the exact way I want to do it.
Yes.
So I literally copy pasted their like exactly like how they did it.
Start fucking with it.
Like yeah, but like on my own. So I just like literally was like, okay, how did they do this carousel effect? And I just made my own carousel effect.
That's insane.
And then because like the plugin they remove certain nodes and
Yeah.
stuff, so it makes it like easier for like other people to use. But then it also removes like some customizability.
right.
So for that one-off thing, I was like, yo, I'm gonna just do this.
See
I
what
want to affect
happens.
the thing this way, and then I had to like figure out how to use the splines because it was like, it was like the movement was super jarring. So like I want to like smooth it out.
Yeah.
I learned how to do the splines, but I think in the video itself, it was like 4 seconds long.
That's the
I
sad
used the
part.
effect- I used the effect twice.
At least it was 8
So it was
seconds.
like a total of like 8 seconds or like 10 seconds, and it took me like 5 hours
no.
to learn and like do
No.
it. So I'm like, but now I know how to do it.
Right,
and
right.
now I'm like super confident.
Yeah, now you're
right? So,
super
like,
fast with it too, right? Like you know what nodes to put, where to put them.
Yeah, I know how to do it, and then like, but then now I like unlocked like a curiosity in me of like, oh, I want to learn how to do this like fancy camera movement with
Yeah.
with my text or like or something on
the
screen.
speed ramping and all that crap.
Right? Yeah, all that cool stuff. But then that makes me have to learn how to use the Fusion page. So I'm like,
Might as well.
okay, well, I already got it. So like, let's keep
Exactly.
going. And now personally, I'm learning how to do stuff in 3D in Fusion, which is like a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
Tacticals you have to do with like lighting and
Yeah.
camera position and
I
it's all that stuff.
actually like that you brought that story up because I think that's how you should approach learning editing as a whole, right? Or like learning even nodes in Fusion as a specific. Just picking one project that you have, like this vision that you have in your head, and then just going for it, just to see what happens. Just do it.
Like, yeah, I think like I showed it to you. It's like I just wanted to do this like cheesy 3D pop-up effect from like like the more you know, or like
Yeah.
or like like I'm a piece of garbage,
Yeah.
right? But then instead of just like flat text appear on screen, I
Gotta
want it
be
to like
3D.
move and be in 3D in space. So I think I spent like 7 hours
Just to find out.
on that one thing
That's insane.
because like I kept changing it and tweaking it, and like it would crash, and then I had to remake it.
It's
'cause it crashed.
crashing.
Yeah, like I have a beast computer and it's crashing. I think it's because I'm using like the font I'm trying to
No
use
way.
isn't like. It's because it's not like a default DaVinci font.
Yeah. I mean, still,
then
you have a 4090, man, right?
No, 4080.
4080.
Super.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But like, no, I think it's the RAM.
RAM?
Like I only have 64 gigs of RAM, and DaVinci's
Oh.
like it's like using like 42 gigs. Like
Okay.
it's like maxing out my RAM. So then, because it's trying to render everything, and I have it at.
You're just maxing out. You're like
I don't
playing
know
games
why.
in the background. Just
Yeah, no, I have like Chrome open.
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff, but I think it's because I have my preview render at like full rendering, which I should lower it to like 50%, which would probably help the crashing. But like I'll change the font to the font I want to use, and then it'll like do the extrude and all the 3D stuff in it,
Yeah.
or like try to. And I think because it's like not a default font,
Fucking
it's like trying to
breaks.
figure out how to do it, and it breaks.
Yeah.
Because like some fonts work really well with DaVinci with the 3D stuff, and some don't.
Is there some keyframing that you're supposed to be doing there? I don't know. We are sliding a little off
Or-
topic.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's a bit, but yeah, it's just like the learning curve, and
It exists.
it's like you gotta have fun with it,
Oh yeah.
and understand it takes like so much fucking
Way
time,
too much
so
time.
much time to learn. But I think that's the thing is like
Yeah.
spending the time to learn it, so that way later on,
Yeah, you could just do it.
know it.
Yeah.
it's like adding that tool.
It's a
To
little
your
it's
belt.
a little crazy because what's it called? Those like edits, fucking like anime edits, K-pop edits, all that bullshit. They look super simple to do, and then you
but
but they're
not.
not, right? You look at the note
They-
system, you're like, what the hell? What the?
Yeah, when they start using if they're like there's some ways to cheat it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
Like a gimmick version of it.
But like I've like you can get like some quick and dirty edits
Mhm.
for like montages and stuff and do anime edits, but like there's some like presets and transitions that are really well done.
Right.
And like
And some of them custom made.
but that's because somebody spent the time to do the notes and make it, right? So if like and because like knowing that transitions and effects is all just like the Fusion page and nodes, like yes, I can just use someone else's presets and that's fine, right? Like that's okay to do too, but like knowing that I could, if I needed to, make my own or like be able to tweak it to make it exactly how I want it is like
Cooler.
I think it's like a power,
That's what I'm saying.
like a superpower.
You're literally able to manifest bullshit out of thin air. And it's funny.
Yeah, and I think that's just like the next step, at least for like in editing and like as an editor. Like if you want to do by like tiers, right? Like the first tier is like, oh, I like understanding where to look for presets, right? Finding channels to help you like just get your foundation ready, right? And then the next step is like starting to like use all those transitions effectively, and then like to get like 80 or 90% of the way there for your vision. And then the final step is okay, like breaking free from using presets and transitions
Creating your own shit.
and creating your own.
That's where you're
'Cause
a
it's
real
like-
editor. Like you're an actual
Yeah, that's
you're
when
the guy.
you like start flexing that skill.
That's what I'm saying.
Because then like from there that point on, it's like you can edit anything.
Right.
And then
You can start
that's where
you start skyrocketing in like income too, because then you can start selling your presets. You can start working with bigger clients. I mean, the list just kind of goes
yeah,
on.
you start work with it helps you work with clients. Like that's where you really develop your editing style, I find, because then when you're using a preset,
You're a bitch.
it's not really
No, I'm
that,
kidding.
but like you're stuck with like someone else's vision, really, because it's like the speed that the transition happens or when it happens, like
yeah, or even the way it looks.
like the style and the way it looks. It's like if everyone uses the preset, because like the presets are free
Mm.
or like super cheap,
Yeah,
then your video is gonna feel like everyone else's video,
exactly.
right?
Oh, you
And
gotta
then-
differentiate.
and that's when like, yeah, and people always, and I think that's like a big concern is people like, oh, but how do I find my style,
just like that.
right? And your style is to be kind of feels kind of bad moment, but it's like,
Mhm.
hey man, you gotta start learning how to use the Fusion
Right.
page,
I think
learn how to use Splend.
I guess I mean like, I mean, would you say there's anything else to it? I think that pretty much wraps it up. The end goal of a video editor should to be eventually to come up with your own bullshit, so you can better tell your stories better, tell your clients' stories better, and just introduce viewers into your, POV of the world that you're trying to create and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I think as an editor, what story you're trying to tell and how close you can get the actual thing be in your like to your mind,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with like drawing, right?
Mhm.
Like when someone's like a good artist, right? It's not how skillfully can they bring something from like the real world onto paper, right? It's not like, oh, they captured this person or this building like 1-to-1. It looks like a photograph. Like that is a skill.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, they need to be able to see it in their mind, right? Like to control their hand, to put the pencil stroke or the paint stroke where it needs to be to match. And like that's where like the artistry comes in, is like they can clearly put their vision that's in their head into reality, and that's where like people get paid a lot.
Boom.
I think that's where you can start charging like a lot.
We solved
as
it.
an
We solved the editing crisis. We're done.